Dogs need this from you more than anything. It's not more toys, better food, or a nicer bed, anything like that. It's not even necessarily more time with you. Those things are nice, but they aren't the answer. Ask online dog training experts what dogs need to thrive, and you'll commonly hear things like structure. Now, that's a totally fair answer, and it's true, but we can get a little more specific. Your dog needs clarity. Clarity, for me, is defined by the dog feeling confident they understand what you want from them and what they should expect. We'll talk in a moment about how to create clarity, but most of your problems really boil down to one of two issues: unclear boundaries or unclear commands. In either case, you deal with a dog that doesn't exactly nail what you wanted from them, either because they don't know what you want them to do, unclear commands, or because they don't care, unclear boundaries. In all fairness, structure, rules and limitations will bring clarity in many cases, but not all. So what is structure? Your dog should have rules and limitations that help them reach the conclusion that they haven't been left to their own devices, and more importantly, that they don't just get to do what they want. You've of course heard the phrase, practice makes perfect. That is the central point of structure, is that if your dog practices obeying you on a daily basis, they get better at it. If they practice listening to you on things, listening to you becomes the knee-jerk reaction. So if your dog isn't allowed to bolt through the door ahead of you when you open it, if they aren't allowed to jump on company, take food off the counter, pull you on the leash, etc., then they get a daily example that you set the expectations. These rules are your doormat insurance to make sure you don't become easy to ignore. And if you stand up for these boundaries, you'll have won enough of the tiny battles that the larger war basically wins itself. That's great, right? But while structure is important, and it will oftentimes create clarity, structure alone cannot. So what's the difference, and why should I care? Upholding structure is great, and you definitely should pick 4 or 5 rules for your home and then die on that hill. That's structure. But to create clarity, you need to also have consistent language and consistent outcomes. If someone says to me, I yell at her and I tell her to stop, I've tried saying no, she doesn't listen, I'm going to look at them and ask them the dumb question, why should they listen to no or stop? Have we made those words mean anything? If you say no and then dish out some sort of undesirable consequence, your dog will learn that no always comes with something they don't want to happen. If you're consistently saying no and then giving corrections, no will begin to be synonymous with correction, and the word itself will begin to work alone. Why? The dog knows what it means. If you say, it's okay, every time the dog is nervous at the vet, eventually it's okay is how they know things most definitely are not okay. And it becomes how you create anxiety, not confidence. Why? Because consistency created clarity on what the word always seems to mean. Bad things are happening. Structure is important, and it can create clarity. But consistent verbiage and consistent action and paying close attention to how the dog might view things will make a dog that you love to live with. See you in the next one.